Hi everyone, it's Tammy, and today I'm going to do a recipe of beef stroganoff. I forgot what it was called for a second. And this is all the ingredients that we will use, except for I have 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of oil warming up on the stove. While that's warming, I'm going to chop up probably a quarter this much of this onion, and I'm also going to chop up the steak, or slice up the steak so it's in thin slices. And I will probably go ahead and open up this can of tomato paste. And these are mushrooms. And this is for dessert. We're going to have strawberry shortcake. Easy, like cheap strawberry shortcake. But, so I have some beef broth. I have tomato paste, sour cream, paprika, salt, the steak. And then I also have the butter and oil on the stove right now. So I'm going to cut this and I will be right back. I guess I should show you what kind of beef I'm using. I'm using this Angus beef. It's tri-tip. This is about a pound, 1.13 pounds. And it comes like this, and I'm just going to slice it into small pieces. I got this from Trader Joe's, and there's not a lot of fat on it, so I really like this kind. This doesn't want to stay open. But I'm just going to slice this into like strips, like about probably 1 inch by 3 inches, something like that. Okay, so I have the meat and the onion chopped up. The meat, the important thing to remember about that is to cut it against the grain. If you cut it with the grain, I guess it would come out kind of tough. At least that's what I've been told. So I'm just going to take this over to the stove and put this into the skillet. And we're going to let this cook until it gets brown. And it's not going to be cooked all the way through. It's just going to be cooked until it's just brown on all the sides. So I'll show you the next step. So the meat is in there and it's browning nicely, and I'm going to just kind of turn it over and let the other side get browned. And then while that's going to be browning, I will make the sauce that will go with the stroganoff, which is about 1/2 cup of sour cream and about 1 teaspoon of paprika and 1 teaspoon of salt, maybe just a little bit more, if kind of whatever your preference is. We kind of like things a little bit salty. My husband really loves it, but it's not really good for us, so I don't try to put too much on, but I think it needs a little bit more than 1 teaspoon, so just do that to taste. You might start with 1 teaspoon. And then I'm also going to add some flour just so that it will help thicken up the sauce. And probably about, I don't know, probably, you probably could coat the meat first. So I would say 2 tablespoons of flour max would be all you need. And I think that's everything. I put tomato paste. I didn't say that. I will put about 3 tablespoons of tomato paste in it as well. And I have about 1/2 cup left. And I'm really bad at, when I'm cooking, I don't measure so much. I just kind of put stuff in. So I will put in about 1 teaspoon of this paprika. About like that. And then about 1 teaspoon of salt. Maybe a little bit more. And then I will add 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, and I will stir all of that around, and that's what's going to go over the beef with the added flour. Okay, so the beef is brown on both sides. It's not totally done, like I don't want it to be good. It's going to simmer on here for a while. And I'm going to add the beef broth, which is about 1.5 cups of beef broth. And I'm just adding it straight from the carton. And that's probably about good. And then I'm going to add that mixture of sour cream, paprika, flour, salt, and tomato paste. That's about how it looks when it's done. And I'm just going to add that to the pan as well. Okay, so I just added that to the pan, and now I'm just mixing it all around, and I will add the mushrooms and let this come to a boil. I don't know if there's beginning cooks that are watching or whatever, so I'm going to say that when you boil things, that's when it gets to its thickest. So if you ever want to thicken something, make sure that you bring it to a boil, because then that will be its thickest, like it'll be allowed to be its thickest. It won't be its thickest at the boil, but once it cools, it will be its thickest. And I know I've talked about this thing before. It has a double-sided, like a thicker spatula and a thinner spatula. I use the thinner spatula to get the tomato paste out of the can. So oh, that's just onion. So I am just using that to stir this around, but then that's it. And we'll wait for this to come to a boil. While we're kind of waiting for this, we're going to let it simmer. I have another pot over here that I'm going to turn on and get it boiling for the egg noodles. And I just have plain water, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt. So now that that's boiling, I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat down, and I'm going to let it simmer uncovered for about 20 or 25 minutes and make sure that that meat gets done, and I'm going to add the mushrooms. Meanwhile, I'm also going to work on the strawberry shortcake, which I really just need to slice these strawberries and put them in this bowl and let them sit in the fridge for a while and get some natural juices going on. Okay, so I have the stroganoff part cooking away, and I have the egg noodles. The water came to a boil, so I just put the egg noodles in with a little bit of salt and oil so they won't stick together. And then I also sliced up the strawberries, and I'm just going to stir these around with about, I don't know, maybe a tablespoon of water, just to help draw out some of the natural juices that they have. Not very much water at all, and I just kind of stir them around to get them excited, and then I put it in the refrigerator. And we are just serving these over those little shortcake things that you get at the store. I really don't like these. I'll just probably eat my strawberries with some whipped cream, but my husband likes these little dessert shells. So we'll just serve them over these with some whipped cream, and that will be dessert. And he doesn't often ask for dessert, so when he asks for dessert, I like to accommodate because I love him. And if you wanted to add some sugar to the strawberries, you could do that as well. He just doesn't like extra sugar, so if I feel like it needs some sugar on it afterward, I'll just sprinkle a little bit on top, but it will probably be fine with just fresh strawberries and cream. Okay, so now I'm just checking on everything. This sauce has thickened up quite a bit. I'm going to turn it off, I think, and let it cool. Well, before I do that, I should probably taste it and make sure that it's, and see if the meat is, yeah, the meat seems tender enough, I think. Let me use a metal fork. Yeah, that's good. And then I'm going to make sure that the sauce is all right. Oh yeah, it's really good. I think that it has just enough of everything in it. It's very tasty. So I'm going to turn this off now and just let it simmer while I get the noodles out. They look like they are done. So I'll turn both of those off, and I'm going to drain the noodles and plate it up, and so you can see. So here it is, all plated up. We're just serving it with a side of green beans, and I put a little bit of shredded Parmesan on it, and also some of the garlic and wine seasoning that I've talked about before from the melting pot. And my husband loves bread, so I gave him 2 slices of this really nice, kind of harder kind of bread. That's very nice. And I also put some noodles in a bowl with some butter for my daughter because she is working on trying to be a vegetarian. So I'm trying to accommodate as much as I can, but we are carnivores around here, so we'll do what's best. And I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you like it. Hope you try it. And if you do, comment below and let me know how you liked it. Thanks. Bye-bye.